So this is advanced configuration. Earlier we saw EIGRP configuration where we use wildcard mask, where not necessary to use wildcard mask. Whenever you want to filter some routes getting advertised, then you can simply filter it using wildcard mask. That wildcard mask option is not available in RIP. So for RIP you need to write some access list, add it to a distribution list and filter it. It's a difficult way. In EIGRP it is very simple. Using wildcard mask you can do that. Now let's see what is the So let's see what is there in this advanced configuration EIGRP option. Now summarization is of two types here. One is auto summarization, the other one is manual summarization. The manual summarization, as I said earlier, it is under the interface. Auto summarization is global to the router, global to the protocol. You can go for automatic summarization or manual summarization depending on your need. Now, before we get into that, why do we need to summarize? What is summarization? Taking multiple subnets and rounding it to major network, or reducing the prefix length so that we will have less number of updates sent. That reduces the bandwidth, the size of the routing table. That will improve, reduced number of bytes consumed by the routing table, less amount of bandwidth utilized by the updates. Definitely it's going to improve the network performance, the efficiency of our network. So smaller the routing table, smaller the updates. Smaller the routing table, less amount of bandwidth consumed. Smaller the routing table, consumes less amount of processor on the receiving router. The receiving router need not to process too many routes. Just the small update. Summarization is really good. Now in the earlier version of EIGRP, the summarization is done automatic. We call it as auto summarization. But in the newer version of EIGRP, summarization is not done by default. You need to know this very well. Don't simply type no auto summary. It is already no auto summary in newer version. In the older version, if you want to cancel that summarization, you may say no auto summary. See, in older version, olden days, summarization was given more importance. So it is turned on by default. Why summarization was given more importance earlier? Why summarization was given more importance earlier? Why not now? Earlier, we were not having enough bandwidth. So if you send the detailed routes, the consumption of bandwidth goes higher and the efficiency of network goes down. not only bandwidth, the processing capability was not that big like today. The router's processor capability, the buffer size, they were not that big like today. So, sending detailed routes without summarization was spoiling the network. Was reducing the efficiency of our network. That's the reason on those days they designed EIGRP with auto summarization. But today we have surplus amount of bandwidth. We have bandwidth like an ocean today. Even ocean water you cannot drink. Though water is too much and ocean is big, you cannot drink. But this ocean, no, everyone likes to drink. Internet is cheaper than water today. Which means we have enough of bandwidth, fast processing devices. You ask our Shivaram, he will tell where he was staying, last month. Internet was very, very cheap compared to water. I'm sorry, I don't think so in his area. No, compared to India. In India, internet is cheaper than the water price in Benin city. I don't know Benin, he was from Benin, I was in Benin city. In entire Nigeria, the water is more costly than the internet that you pay in India. Internet here is very cheaper now. Everyone has got too much of bandwidth available in their cell phone. No one uses it because you got a cheaper internet in laptop. You always use laptop, not much of cell phone. So you never utilize all the bandwidth given to you in cell phone. That is the technique that cell phone vendors are doing. They simply say, we give you 2 GB for this much money. They know we will not use it for in a day 2 GB in cell phone. Maybe 1 or 2 will use. Not many. So that is the reason why summarization is not on by default today. Today we have more bandwidth, fast processing devices. So the summarization occurs by default is not in newer version. In your version, wherever you want to enable that, you are allowed to enable. No one is going to stop you. You can enable the auto summarization if you want by saying auto summary. So earlier, whenever we configure EIGRP, we used to type no auto summary. Some people used to do that without knowing why they are doing it. And they configure EIGRP, they say, oh, this is one of the default command I have to type when I enable EIGRP. Not really good idea. Sometimes we may not be in need of detailed routes. So here, we are going to have in newer version detailed routes always. And if you find this detailed route is not necessary for our neighbors, we can say auto summary. So when you say auto summary, what will happen? The network mask, it will come down from VLSM to FLSM, fixed length subnet mask. It will come to variable length, it will come from variable length subnet mask Hence it will come from classless mask to classful mask. For 10 network, if you have /30, it will come down to /8. For 172.16 network, if you have 24 mask, it will come down to 16. That is what it means, major network boundaries. Automatic summarization always does rounding to major network boundaries. Then the subnets are summarized to classful network. Subnetworks are not classful, they are variable length, they are classless. There is also another one called manual summarization. Manual summarization has the following characteristics. Summarization is configurable on per interface basis in any router within a network. Summarization is configurable on a per interface basis. When summarization is configured, this is the important point. When summarization is configured on an interface, according to the summarization that you configured, immediately a new route will be getting generated, created. Now this new router, which interface it will point? It cannot point to any physical interface because it's a summary route of many networks on many subnets on many interfaces. It's a summarization of many networks that are in many interfaces. Many interfaces network, when you take and summarize, you need to point towards a null interface to avoid loop. You cannot point towards any one physical interface. Or you cannot point to all those physical interface for which you did summarization. It will cause loop. So what happens is, when you configure manual summarization on an interface, that summary route, that summarization that you do, for that summary, a route will be created and it will point towards a null interface that prevents the loop. Now, from now on, the summary route from this routing table will be advertised. It will not advertise detailed route from now on. It will advertise only the summary route via that interface. It will advertise only the summary route via that interface because you have done summarization. It won't advertise detailed route. It will advertise only the summary route. It advertises only the summary route. See, if a route need to be advertised, the route should be there in the routing table because it's a distance vector protocol. That is the reason why it creates a route pointing towards null interface. And that route is what now going to be advertised. Only via that interface. On the other interface, it will not be sending that summary route. From the routing table, it will take that summary route and send it via the port where the summarization is enabled. Now, when will the summary route advertisement stop? If I have summarized 10 subnets, if one subnet goes down, no update sent. 2 subnet goes down, no update sent. 8 subnet going down, no update sent. All 10 going down, only now the update will go and say this is no more available. That's what the second last point says. When the last specific route of a summary goes away, the summary is deleted. When the last specific route of the summary goes away, the summary is deleted. Yeah, the summary is deleted only when the last specific routes, so multiple specific routes we have taken and we have summarized. When will the summary advertisement get deleted? Only when the last specific route. So if it is deleted, it will no more advertised. It cannot be advertised because it's no more available. The minimum metric of a specific route is used as the metric of summary route. The minimum metric of a specific route is used as the summary route. What does that mean? Listen, let me explain with the diagram. I'm getting lot of updates. 10.1.1.0/24, 10.2.2.0/24, 10.1.2.0/24. Just for our example, I'm writing this. If I say auto summary, it will not advertise this 10 all this thing. It will simply advertise only 10.0.0/8. Major network. It will round to the major network. That is auto summarization, which we saw in the previous page. Now we have done auto summarization, but I do not want the summary route, so I say no auto summary. Now both this router R1 and R2 starts learning 10.1.1.0/24, 10.1.2.0/24, 10.2.2.0/ like this. Both will get this thing coming like this. Both get the detailed route because I said no auto summary. Now what do we do? I do not like this detailed route on R2 for some reason. Only on R2. I don't want this. I don't want R2 to learn that detailed route. I want R2 to learn like this. 10.0.0/8. Instead of this 3, I want to have only one summary route. So what I can do is I can go to this interface. See, it's a manual summarization, is the interface based summarization. I can go to this interface and say for EIGRP, let's say 100, autonomous system 100, summarize 10.0.0/8. So immediately one route will be created in the routing table of this router. What is that? 10.0.0/8 null interface. Connected to which interface? Null 0 interface. This route will be dynamically created, and only this route will be advertised via this link. On the other link, it is still the detailed routes. So R1 will be learning detailed routes, R2 will see only a summarized route. Now what will be the metric of the summarized route? What will be the metric of the summarized route? Let's say the metric of this one is 20, 10, 5. So R1 will learn this as 20 plus whatever is in between, and this as 5 and this as 10. It learns. But R2 will learn only 5. Why? These three networks are summarized like 10, 0, 0, 0, but it cannot use 20 or 5, 10. It cannot use all of them. It can use only one. Which one it will use? It will use only the minimum metric of the specific route. This is called, these three are what? Specific route or summary route? Specific routes. The minimum metric of the specific route is used as a metric of the summary route. Please ask me a question if you have.
Does this statement mean that the last specific route of the summary goes away, the summary is deleted?
Okay. Now you see, for example, this network is no more. No update will be sent via this link. No update will be sent. But in this link it will send update. Say, hey, the 10.1.1.1 no more, remove. That removes, R1 removes. But R2 has got only the summary of all those three networks. So nothing will be sent. So this summary route, which is created on all this behalf of all these three, will be still there in the routing table. It won't be deleted. But when all these three goes off, this will get deleted. The one which dynamically created will get deleted, and the update will go until you also delete. You understood now?
So when all the networks are gone, then the summary route will be deleted.
Yes.
It won't be affected if any one of the...
No. If only when all the specific route goes down, the summary route that was pointing towards null 0 interface will get deleted. Arthamainda. Right. You see, this is the command to configure, cancel the auto summarization. If you want to enable auto summarization, just put remove this no and put only auto summary. This will automatic summary. Then all the neighbors will get the summary route. But if you want one specific neighbor to get summary route and the other one to have a detailed route, as I showed earlier in the previous slide, then you have to go to the interface, and this is the syntax for what I was telling in the previous slide. Go to the interface and say IP summary address EIGRP 100 10.0.0.0 255.0.0.0. The administrative distance for this will be 5 by default. If you want to mention something else, you can mention. If you don't mention that 5, it is okay. It will give 5 only by default. I would like to do and show you these things now. Let's do. No. So we are going to have some subnets, specific subnets coming from different router to R1. To simulate that, I am using loopback. 10.1.1.1.2/30, and then loopback 3 is going to have 10.1.1.3/30. See, this is specific network /30. No, /32. That's what I mean. 32. These are all three different networks. Even though I put host address 32, according to router, these are all three different networks. And I'm going to say again, loopback 4. Okay, the reason I have taken these 6, okay, I can take even 2 more to teach you something more better. Loopback 7. Yeah. So these things I'm going to configure on router 1. Just to simulate that we got many subnetted networks. And I'll use a notepad to do this. And I'm going to copy and paste and do some alteration 8 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8. Let me come from the top. Okay, we got 9. I don't know how to delete this. Let's keep 9. And then between the router 1 and router 2, I would like to say interface G00, IP address is 10.12.0.1.255.255.0. No shit. Interface G1/0, I want to say 10.13.0.1.255.255.00. No shit. And the write to memory. Select all, copy, and I'll paste it here. Next. On R2 and R3 we don't have G1/0. On R2 this is going to be 2 and we don't need these many loopbacks on R2. Let's have only one loopback called 2.2.2.2. Next. That's all here needed. I just copy and paste it on router 2. And on router 3, I'll change this to 3.3.3.3, and this will be 13.3. Alright, finished. Now it's time to enable EIGRP. Let's enable EIGRP. Enabling EIGRP, router EIGRP 100. Network is 3.0.0.0. See, I'm just saying this. Network 10.0.0.0. So now EIGRP will be running on both loopback and physical. Show IP interface brief. I did not use wildcard mask because, if I say 10, it will be running on this. If I say 3, it will be running on this. Show IP EIGRP interface. You can see both the interfaces are running EIGRP. Let me also go to router 2 and do the same configuration. Router EIGRP 10, network 2.2.2.2. You can also say 2000. Not necessary. Only when you want to do some filtration, you may use wildcard mask. Otherwise, no need. Alright. Show IP EIGRP interfaces. You can see only these two interfaces are running EIGRP. Now I want to check whether this is a newer version or older version. If it is a newer version of EIGRP, it will do summarization by default. So show IP, if it is newer version of EIGRP, it won't do summarization by default. Show IP protocol. And I can see automatic summarization is right now active, in effect. It is not in effect. If I put in and effect together, it will be ineffective, opposite of effective. But this is effective. It says I am summarizing. I am not a newer version. I am summarizing. Okay, good, happy. That's what we want. Let's go to router 1. I'm going to configure RIP, router RIP, EIGRP 100, network 10. When I say 10, all this will be running EIGRP. See, show IP EIGRP interfaces. All these are running EIGRP because all are starting with 10. Kada? Is it not? Ilya? Right. What is next we are going to do? We will go and check what route we learn on R2 first. Show IP route EIGRP. See, I am not learning detailed routes. I am getting only summary route. And you also see the local 2.2.2.2/8 is summarized to /32 is summarized to /8. If you see show IP route, simply 2.2.2.2 is /32. But because the summarization is turned on, it summarizes like this, and the summary route will always point towards null. Likewise, the local 10 network is summarized to null. And it is advertising only this because it's a distance vector protocol. For anything to advertise, I should have it in the routing table. If I need to advertise a summary route, I should have that summary route in my routing table. Andake, that is why the summary route is generated, pointing towards null 0. Okay. So if I go and say no auto summary in R1, what will happen? Router OSP, router EIGRP 100, no auto summary. What happens, you'll get detailed route now. Sooner, very soon. You'll get detailed route for all 10 network coming from outside. What happened? Did I say no auto summary? What did you say?
Router 1 EIGRP AS number is 100 and router 2 I think it is 10.
Oh, is it? Okay. Is it like that? Show IP EIGRP interfaces. Yeah. Router EIGRP 100 network 2.0.0.0.
It won't advertise. Then how it will advertise?
No, that was local. Nothing. That is local. Locally also you get
Okay.
it. Now,
and they do both are local. Okay.
Now if you see the routing table, you have all the routes. I want to show only EIGRP routes. You got detailed routes. Locally it is summarizing this. This is still there. But from the other router, it is getting detailed routes. Likewise, R3 will also be learning a detailed route. Now, show IP route. Detailed route. Now, I do not want the detailed route on R3. Repeating again, I do not want to see this detailed route for R3. I want a summary route from 1 to 7. 8 and 9 I want detail. Repeating again, 8 and 9 I want detail. 1 to 7 I want summarized. How will you do that? Go to the interface that connects to R3. Interface gig 1/0. IP summary address for EIGRP 100. Summarize this 10.1.1.0 from 0 onwards. Next to 7, no? From 0 onwards, next to 7. So we will say 255.255.255 dot 255 minus 7 is what? 248. Now if you go and see on router 3, you got 8 and 9 in detail. For other networks you got summary. You can still ping, okay? You can still ping 7. Though we don't have route. This is what called as manual summarization. If you go to router 2, still you got a detailed route. See? But in router 3, you just got only the summary route. Now, I told you the administrative distance on R1 for the summary route will be 5. I did not configure, but you can see it. Show IP show run. Interface G1/0. You see this 5. I did not set this 5. This is the administrative distance. It's not necessary now. Only when we have a different administrative distance route, it will prefer the one with the lower administrative distance. So now what I did is I did manual summarization on router 3. Repeating again, on router 3 I get these two detailed route. But in R2 I don't want to see even this one. I want all to be summarized. So then what you can do is on R2 you can go, in R1 you can go to the interface that connects to R2. IP summary address EIGRP 100. You can simply say 10.1.0.0 255.255.00. Now if you check on R2, earlier we were having detailed routes, but now you got summary for all the 10 that's coming from other direction. And I'm expecting /16 because I did summarization like that. Why? I don't want it to conflict with the local. Local is also /8. So I did summarization. So from here, if I ping this address, I'll be able to ping. I can also ping 33333, which is router 3 from router 2. Alright, so hope you understood summarization, manual summarization at any point, the interface level summarization. Do these things and see. If you don't do that Default network, it's okay. Anyway, I'm going to do it in the next class. Do this lab and see. Yes.
So advertise the required subnets or like summarize the routes. So
See, that's what. If you want,
will it get any issues?
if you want to learn detailed routes, you can say no auto summary. And when any one specific subnet goes down, you will immediately get an update. So router 2 will know when loopback 5 goes down on R1. When loopback 5 goes down on R1, router 2 will know it when you don't do summarization. But when you do summarization, router 2 will forward it to router 1 and router 1 will drop it. Updates won't go for small specific networks when it is summarized. You understand? So depending on your need, if you need detailed route information and the very latest update on every single subnets, then you need to say no auto summary. Cancel automatic summarization and get the detailed routes.
Can keep both the things. Like we can detail subnet is also we can configure if we need we can configure summary depending on it.
So yeah, I showed you, one of the router was receiving detailed route, the other was receiving summary route. Didn't I show you? Even now you see, router 3 is getting detailed route for 8 and 9. Whereas router 2 is not getting this. Router 2 is getting complete summary. So I'm having both,
Okay.
There is no 8 and 9. Right?